incredible weeks of sport, part of an emphasis on Doha as a capital of sport, with mega events like the FIFA World Cup and Formula One and the forthcoming World Aquatics Championships alongside these prestigious equestrian events. Busy and vibrant night under the desert night sky here in the Longines Arena Al Shakab to see whether the course has been measured tight or not. 1.25 seconds up at our time check. If we see any of them make it through into the jump off of this Grand Prix, we could easily have an exciting new winner. Leaves us with 4 remaining in this Grand Prix night. Our prize winners joining us now. With the winner of the Doha Tour Week 2 Grand Prix is the Longines FEI World #1, World Champion, World Cup Champion of our sport, with Glamour Girl, Sweden's Henrik von Eckermann. Doha Tour, part of the instigation of an equestrian season here in this wonderful Longines Arena at Al Shakab.
ومستقبل مشرق. عبد الغني موتورز شريكك بالبلد.
Incredible weeks of sport, part of an emphasis on Doha as a capital of sport, with mega events like the FIFA World Cup and Formula One and the forthcoming World Aquatics Championships alongside these prestigious equestrian events.
Busy and vibrant night under the desert night sky here in the Longines Arena Al Shakab. To see whether the course has been measured tight or not, 1.25 seconds up at our time check. If we see any of them make it through into the jump off of this Grand Prix, we could easily have an exciting new winner. Leaves us with 4 remaining in this Grand Prix night.
Our prize winners joining us now. With the winner of the Doha Tour Week 2 Grand Prix is the Longines FEI World #1, World Champion, World Cup Champion of our sport, with Glamour Girl, Sweden's Henrik von Eckermann.
Doha Tour, part of the instigation of an equestrian season here in this wonderful Longines Arena at Al Shakab.
The orange man, Equestrian, is the course designer for Week 3 of the Doha Tour 2024. He was the course designer for the FEI Champion European Championships in Milan in his native Italy last year. He was also the course designer for the jumping section in the FEI Eventing World Championships in Qatar, Italy in 2022. This is a 2-phase class. First phase ends at 1 to 8 for the length of 300 meters with a time allowed of 48 seconds, a time limit of 96 seconds. Don't go clear in the first phase, you do not proceed to the second phase.
Well, good evening and welcome to the 3rd week of January's Doha Tour, and of course Doha Tour carrying on into February with the prestigious Emir's Sword. But our focus today at the end of these 3 weeks is 5-star show jumping action. We've already had our meter 40, my apologies I should say, class. The meter 40 tour that was a good and useful part of the 4-star over the last 2 weeks carries on and persists here in the 5-star week. But our first Longines World Ranking class of the week is this meter 45 2-phase. It's a 2-phase normal, so they have to be free of jumping and time faults in the initial phase in order to be able to progress. It will be faults across both phases, and the time in the second phase that will be the deciding factor. And if they don't progress, faults and time in that first phase, that will give us our ranking. Really good field of riders here. A lot of riders who are in great form. Young Jennifer Hochstadter for Liechtenstein, for instance, is one that jumps off that. Gerfried Puck, of course, was our Week 1 Grand Prix winner. Jamie Kermond and the lovely Isis, actually. It's a horse I've really been enjoying watching over the course of the first 2 weeks. Jamie was on the podium with his top horse, Yandu Oaks Constellation, in Week 1 here as well. Roberto Prevetali has been in fine form, flying form, as you'd expect for an Italian rider based out of Gaudiano stables. Gaudiano himself with plenty of wins under his belt. We've heard the French national anthem here an awful lot as well, including for Simon Delestre as a winner. Simon has been on the podium in week 2's Grand Prix that was taken by the world number 1, Henrik von Eckermann of Sweden, who we were delighted to have join us last week, and he came right into winning ways with victory in the week 2 meter 55 4-star Grand Prix. This week we'll conclude with a 5-star Grand Prix, so we start to hand out some of the biggest prize funds, and also, when you consider it, those large world ranking points. It will be a AA ranking point Grand Prix with 308,600 euros to be exact in that prize fund. So starting off our competition then, it is Italian Olympian Emanuele Gaudiano. Gaudiano with Contargo Blue. And it's the first of 2 rides for him, the group coming at the beginning and end of the draw with 2 horses each in this Longines World Ranking class. Contargo Blue has been a double winner at the top level here over the course of our week. Actually won the biggest class on day 1 of week 1. And then actually was the winner of this very class in week 2. So Contargo Blue and Emanuele Gaudiano coming here in very good form on this particular day of the show series, trying to make it 3 in a row. So Uliana Vezzani has designed our track. Contargo Blue just hangs a tiny bit there on that very first related distance. One of the issues along there is the growth over the last few years of the sort of the cafe culture, as I've been calling it, alongside the very edge of the arena. Number 5, the Dow, is right over there in the corner of the ring. And again, when you get under the desert night sky here in Al Shikab, and Uliana Vezzani knows this ring inside out, there's a couple of things you can use to your advantage. You've got the big screen, you've got the in-gate that you have at most other 5-star rings. But here as well, under the lights, you've got aspects of where it feels just slightly darker. It's not, but there are areas that feels, because especially down at that end, where there isn't the big VIP, for instance, that you just see going off the screen there at the moment, it feels like the dark of the desert night comes into the ring just there. So it really does make, right in front of the big screen, right in front of the in-gate, over in that feels like darker side of the ring, that Dow fence that he had down is really quite tricky. You just see there again, we go out there in towards the main area of Al Shikab. The gallop track is between us and the Emir stables, and that just has the opportunity for the sort of the natural darkness to come through. Geoffrey Pook, Equestrian, Valerie van der Schmitzhoever just getting ready here for their bell. Melody, also a winner, won the meter 50 class on Saturday of week 1. So Emanuele Gaudiano are only one home at the moment, and that was just the first phase. So 4 faults for him, time 44.92. We'll see whether Geoffrey Pook is going to get us into the second phase of action. So jumps that fence that was a little bit the bogey for Gaudiano's number 1 horse. A double Thursday winner here on the Doha Tour so far. He's got this double of doubles then here as well. Double of verticals here. And then just riding the right-hand bending line to this natural double Oxa vertical. And there's the changeover time. So you see Geoffrey Pook go through it quite quick. And what a tough turn it is to get going. You come out of that, you turn blind through a full 270 degrees around your right shoulder, back up to that fence, and Geoffrey Pook has it down. So he is a second phase contender, but he's on 4 faults. We're looking for our first double clear here in our first Longines World Ranking class of 5-star week at Doha Tour. And Geoffrey stops the clock at 27.61 with that second phase 4 faults. It's I think going to be quite a handy time. Geoffrey is always just on the front foot in terms of the time.
Already a winner today in this weekend Doha Tour 2024 is the
So we've seen Gaudiano. It's time to see Previtali, our second Italian rider. Roberto, a winner in the 2-star tour earlier on this morning. This is Esteban de Hoos, and this has been his most successful top tour horse over the course of the week, with several top 5s and podium finishes. Actually runner-up in this class last weekend here at Al Shakab, this incredible venue, the Longines Arena, playing host on behalf of the Qatar Equestrian Federation to these 3 weeks of Doha Tour, and then in February the Emir's Sword 5-star competition. Oh, Previtali just chipped in there between the double of verticals, but he goes clear. 45 on the clock. Riders will see that the first phase time is fairly achievable. 48 seconds the time allowed, so it wasn't like Previtali was a million miles inside it. Esteban de Hoos, he's just these couple of times not giving Previtali the most comfortable of rides, just hollowing a touch through his back in the air. Finds a good line here, coming up to the last. Remember, 27 seconds it was for Geoffrey Pook. Look at this. He is a little bit slower. He is double clear, and that's what's necessary at the moment. Previtali becomes the one to beat, but Geoffrey Pook still sets the standard time-wise in that second phase with 27.61. An interesting class already here in the Doha Tour.
dual national Australian champion Jamie Vermont joins us now for our championship world rider for his native Australia. He goes with Yandu Oaks Constellation.
So from the podium in week 1 with us, with this horse, Yandu Oaks Constellation, Jamie Command. Jamie rode Yandu Oaks Constellation in the World Equestrian Games in Tryon in North Carolina in 2018. So can they be double clear and faster than 28.16? And of course Jamie comes at the end of the draw as well with Isis, a horse that's really settled well into this ring. I mean, you can't say that Yandu Oaks Constellation hasn't settled well into the business of jumping in this ring either, with that podium finish, second place in week 1 of the Doha Tour Series. So jumping the Dow, it's not quite such a bending line, a curving line there alongside the ring as it might appear if you've been looking at the course map online through the Keep app. Yandu Oaks Constellation just jumps really nicely through that double of verticals, and Jamie has just been keeping his powder very dry, just wanted to get Yandu Oaks Constellation into the ring, get jumping again to start off 5-star week here down at the meter 45 level. Of course, meter 60 will be our Grand Prix on Saturday, and is happy to accept a few time penalties there for the pace that Jamie wanted to ride at here on day 1 of the show. So 12 for time is what counts against Jamie Camon there and Yandu Oaks Constellation. Another rider who took victory with us over the course of the preceding 2 weeks, Antoine Herman for France. Odin van Hennegoor. Odin van Hennegoor was jumping the Meter 40 Tour with us during week 1 and actually was a winner on day 1 of the show in Tour 1. So Antoine and Odin, he's very, very talented young rider from France. We see that class again and again, and winning with 2 different horses at the top tour alone with us here over the last 3 weeks. Looks set to go forward into the second phase, does so. Now this was the turn that caught out Gerfried Pook, and it catches out Antoine Herman. It really is just tricky to get around there and find yourself in a good spot. And what is so complicated when we get up to this 5-star level is you could come around the corner and pick up that oxer quite well, but still not be considered like quite correct, and therefore it's the Royal Palace vertical next up where you might have the problem, all coming back to how you rode that turn going through the transition between phases. 31 on the clock, so again Gerfried Pook is fastest. Previtali is the only one to jump double clear. Antoine Herman with 4 in the second phase goes into 3rd place at the moment. Well, again, a rider who has taken victory over the course already of the Doha Tour, Nadja Peter Steiner. Swiss Championship medalist Nadja with Japelou. And this is quite a pacey, attacking run in the first phase from Nadja and Japelou. Well balanced through the double of verticals, and that is just one spot where they do just need to be a bit careful. So rolling back, and it's a really wide rollback turn. Doesn't want to get into the same problem that Gerfried Pook and Antoine Herman did, but then also potentially that means she cannot hope to be competitive with the sort of time set by Previtali. Whilst Previtali isn't the fastest of anyone around the second phase, he's not a million miles behind. He's half a second slower than Gerfried Pook's fastest time. And remember, Gerfried did have the rail down. That's why he sits in second place. So it's double clear. It will go into second place, but it is pretty beatable in 34-36. But, you know, beatable on paper. Everyone has to come in and actually do it. Everyone has to come in and, for instance, leave that Al Shakab Horses Heads fence up at number 9 at the beginning of the second phase.
Italy first, Switzerland second, Austria third. In this Austrian ranking, 1:45, 5 stars, 2 phase class as it stands. Now representing New Zealand, we welcome in Belgian Formula de Ortolan of the Red Box by Daniel Lynch. Hurry to your start.
New Zealand Olympian Daniel Meach with Ortolan van het Rixtenbos. 28.16 is the time to beat Roberto Previtali, Esteban Duz. The Doha bank, it's interesting to see it jumping quite well here so far in this class, because it's been very influential in where both of our designers, Peter Schumacher in week 1 and Uliana Vetsani last week, who of course stays with us for 5-star this week, wherever they used it, the Doha bank did get a very, very good effect. Now, watching the time, 48 seconds, they should be all right. Yeah, like so many, between 45 and 46 seconds on the clock for Daniel Meach and Ortolan. And he does seem to get a very, very good strike up to 9, and 10 comes up fine for him as well. This actually comes up very, very quick. You might not just get that impression, but when you do jump number 10, as you turn, you find yourself right at the moment you've got to make your decision about where you're going to strike off for number 11. So that's a really just intense moment of the course that the riders need to get right. So steady enough, 3.9 seconds slower than Previtali. Daniel Meach goes into second place at the moment.
Daniel Meach for New Zealand cleared 32.08, and he's going to place in second behind Roberto Previtali for Italy. Joining us now, Equestrian. He goes with the Equestrian team Harvard, representing Jordan, already the winner here at the Doha Tour for Jordan.
We move on to a 4-time Olympian for Jordan, Ibrahim Hani Bisharat, again a winner with us over the course of the tour. Ibrahim with Harvard here for our meter 45 world ranking class. Harvard jumping the meter 40 tour in week 1, was on the podium there. Ibrahim winning on the meter 40 tour in week 1 with another horse, Henriette. Low camera there looking across the Dow, just also gives you a sense of the majesty of this Al Shakab arena. Very, very snug over the top of that first vertical. You got the horse jumping well to come out. They sail out over the last part of the double that finishes phase 1. And Ibrahim Hani Bisharat is moving. 28.16. Is it under pressure? He puts a little bit of angle, a little bit of slice there on the clock tower. And again, a beautiful spot over the flowers. Yellow, grey and white. 28.16. Ibrahim Hani Bisharat to go in front of Roberto Previtali. He will do. 26.47. It is 1.7 seconds faster, 1.69 to be exact. That is a double clear, and it really is a counting one for Jordan. Ibrahim Hani Bisharat and Harvard become the ones to beat, and they really move the needle as well. 1.69 seconds in this company is a real dramatic move of the leaderboard. Remember Gerfried Puk, he looked fast, 27.61 with his penalty. So in terms of that, Ibrahim Hani Bisharat is still 1.2 seconds faster than that. So 4 double clears leading the way as we go on to Rashid Touaim Ali Al Murray, championship medalist for Qatar. I saw Hamed Al Murray earlier on taking a podium finish in our first 5-star class of the whole Doha Tour for 2024. So the time is fine. Rashid Touaim, Ali Al Murray and Concordess through into the second phase. They were a little bit steady in the first phase. They're not taking the sort of risks that we saw a moment ago from Ibrahim Hani Bisharat. So this feels more like a second phase that, if they are double clear, and that seems to be what they're trying to buckle in and do, is going to be over 30 seconds on the clock. there we go. That is a pleasing result for the Qatari fans to have one of their own go double clear. Had plenty of solid results from the Qatari riders in the 4-star over the course of the last 2 weeks, and they'd really like to make their mark in the 5-star. Of course, you don't have to go too far back in history to find a Qatari victor at the 5-star level in this ring, when Bassam Mohammed took victory in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Doha a few seasons ago. Back to Jordan, back to the Bisharats. This is Hani Kamal Raji Bisharat with Chatignou. Hani, who was a member of the Jordanian squad at the World Championships, also rode for Jordan at the Regional Olympic qualifier held here at Al Shakab last spring. Hani's career, a long relationship with Doha. He rode in the Asian Games that were held here in Doha back in 2006, and I know big plans and proposals to try and have the Asian Games come back here to Doha, Qatar in the very near future. Chatignou jumping meter 40 2 weeks ago with us for a podium finish, and now taking on the world ranking classes at the 5-star level of the sport. So really using the tour, the way it's set up, to help develop a horse and provide those competition opportunities for a horse that is on the upswing and would benefit from just a couple of weeks jumping and development before trying to take on the big meter 50 technical tracks. So Hani Kamal Raji Bisharat is going to be under 30 seconds. He's 28.09, and it's good enough to make it a Jordanian 1-2 at the moment. Ibrahim Hani Bisharat and Harvard are leading in front of Hani Kamal Raji Bisharat and Chatignou. Good man, getting the crowd going here. And we've been enjoying decent crowds actually every single day, right from Thursday afternoon of week 1 of the tour. They've been out enjoying this spectacular venue and brilliant show jumping each evening as well. And long may it continue. There's been a great effort made over the years to create an audience for show jumping. And it is starting to pay back, not only for these shows administered by the Qatar Equestrian Federation, supported greatly by the Qatar Olympic Committee, but also then for Al Shakab themselves, the venue here, who run their own prestigious CSI 5-star competition coming up in February, the week after the Emir's Sword. And then, of course, also Longines Global Champions Tour has a long relationship with here. To follow Suwaid Al Ajmi and Ghana. See him getting Ghana back right into the hand for that double of verticals there, treating it quite rightly with a good bit of respect there, and that double of doubles progression across the ring. A very, very nimble turn back, but it's such a balancing act, because when you make a turn like that, you've gone so far left of center at the next fence that you can't really knife across it. You want to be jumping it from right to left, that vertical. So being neat in one place means you can't be so neat in another place. 26.47, it's going to be just behind. It's a great, great effort there from Qatar's Fala Suwaid Al Ajmi, but he goes on 27.69 and the last down. So both count against him for 8th position with a clear at the last. It would have been into 2nd place, but you can just imagine what went through his mind, just taking that dive at the last, trying to shave and save every second possible. So young talent from Liechtenstein again, right in the mix, class after class over the course of the Doha Tour. Jennifer Hochstadter, Tinker's Hero Z. Jennifer just outside the top 5 in the Week 1 Grand Prix as well with Golden Lady. This horse Tinker's Hero, podiums and top 5s, 3 podium finishes and a top 5 across the 2 weeks of 4-star jumping so far, and comfortably through. And one of the fastest first phase times, if it's indicative. They seem to be on a very good spot to slice across this if they want to. They do want to, they go for it. Tinker's Boy just showing a little bit of exuberance there, bucking through as Jennifer puts on the pressure. 26.47, a lovely, lovely long one spotted there up to the vertical. Over the last, it's 26.48. It is 100th slower. What a great challenge from Jennifer Hochstrader. It is not quite to be. The Liechtenstein rider goes into second place. 26.47 for Ibrahim Hani Bishra, and 100th of a second slower, Jennifer Hochstrader and Tinker's Hero Z. Breaking up the 2 Jordanian riders' grip on the podium, though, it's Jordan Liechtenstein, Jordan, as things currently stand. Highest ranked rider with us at the show in Week 1. Before we were joined by the world number 1, Simon Delestre from the world's top 10, and Dexter Fontenis. Simon was on the podium last week, but he's not unfortunately going to feature today. Just the horse losing the hind end a touch going up that distance there, having had number 2 down. So, with the rail down, of course, no progression, unfortunately, for Simon and Dexter Fontenis. So we mentioned him just a few moments ago as a former 5-star Grand Prix winner in this ring for Qatar, Bassem Mohammed. Qatari Olympian, championship medalist Bassem with Crispo. It's quite interesting that Uliano sets up that first distance as something the riders really have to manage and produce from their horses. They can't just roll in there and switch on by about fence 3. In common with the Grand Prix, right the way back to the first 5-star class of the week, Uliana Vetsani is saying this week at 5-star level you're going to have to think, and you're going to have to think not only from the first fence, but as every trainer will tell you, about your approach to the first fence. That is going to be key. And of course what he's done tonight is he's left it so that in reality they could come in off either rein, but it's mostly that they're all going to make that right rein approach, and that won't suit every single horse. We just saw Bassem's horse here, we're going to see it in replay, just suddenly have a moment of indecision in front of the double of verticals, and of course nothing for it but to have that down. Those verticals will be all of metre 45, the maximum height for this particular class. So just a little pause here while we wait for our next rider forward, and indeed we're getting close to bringing riders with their second horses back as well. So just want to make sure that they've had enough time to warm up as well, whilst trying to keep our whole daily schedule on the go too. We go to Thailand though for our next contender. This is Janakaporn Kurunayadaj, fourth in the Asian Games and fourth in our Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago as well. Janakaporn Kurunayadaj with Maxwin All Pleasure Hero for this meter 45. Again, it's not riding maybe as tough as I think a few people thought coming away from that line down the side of the ring on the approach up to the double of verticals, but maybe not being ridden as aggressively as the riders would like. And Janakaporn was quite quiet about her riding all the way through the first phase. You can see here that she is trying to move Maxwin All Pleasure Hero up a little bit in the second phase. However, they miss out on this turn inside the Doha bank, so they put themselves on the back foot there, but she's just trying to move up through the gears, but certainly left herself with a lot of kind of headroom for how much you could move up, having not really opened and sparked the horse in the first phase. But double clear, 30.14, fifth place at the moment for the Thai championship rider, Janakaporn Kurunayadaj and Maxwin All Pleasure Hero. On course then, the Asian Games champion Abdullah Al-Shabatli with Dancing Wolf OL. This old large horse, of course, the OL prefix of the late Sultan Saud, a tremendous supporter of show jumping. Abdullah, like all the top Saudi riders, enjoying the fruits of their own success with their Olympic qualification last year, their Asian Games success. They've had a really wonderful time enjoying the investment now that's being made in them and their horsepower. There's some very, very exciting combinations coming up, not only for the Saudis, but also the Emirati riders who picked up Olympic qualification as well. It's great to see them starting to gel with those horses and hopefully make a mark again at Olympic level, like the team that Abdullah was part of back in London in 2012 when they took team bronze. Now, Shabatli has a real good go there with Dancing Wolf OL, and it is not far off the pace. 0.2 of a second is all that's in it. Remember, there's 1/100th between first and second. There's now only 2/10ths between first and third. Abdullah Al-Shabatli, Dancing Wolf's time, 26.67, goes into third place.
Jordan first, Liechtenstein second, Saudi Arabia third, as we welcome in number 19 on your start list. And it's represented at the Olympic Games for Brazil, it's Santiago Lambre. He goes with Chaco Blue 2.
Santiago Lambre di Brasil, prepared the Chaco to all of these islands.
Again, a rider who has been lucky enough to hear his national anthem played, standing atop the podium with us here at Al Shakab over the course of this tour, Santiago Lambre. Brazilian Olympian Santiago with Chaco Blue. World Championships rider, Pan American Games medalist for Brazil as well. Chaco Blue actually won this very class back in week 1 of the tour and was a podium finisher at the level above the meter 50 during week 2. As I had to say, it's difficult to think of anyone who can maybe ride a tighter turn than Shabatli did, but that is very tight. But did he quite have the matching foot speed to the pace that Shabatli had picked up with Dancing Wolf OL? He's a consistently fast rider, never rule Santiago out, and actually it's really interesting to see him over here amongst these European and Middle Eastern riders, a rider we normally see on the North American circuit week in, week out. He is not going to chase down the very fastest here, but again, you see how Chaco Blue has the ability to make those tight turns, and the form over the previous couple of weeks says that they can be fast, but it may well be now that having just used the tour so far, Santiago eases Chaco Blue into this week, looking potentially for the big one, the just over €300,000 meter 65-star Grand Prix on Saturday night here to bring Doha Tour Week 3 to its conclusion. Khalid Al-Mobti. Khalid for Saudi Arabia with Diana de Plevaux. By a horse we've actually seen be very successful in this ring as well, Je Merci Van Tienel. Former podium finisher here in 5-star Grand Prix action. Khalid Al-Mobti is the current leader of the Arab League of the FEI Jumping World Cup standings, and of course Saudi Arabia looking forward to being the first regional hosts ever of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup finals in April. Then again, Khalid is just moving Diana de Plevaux up, testing out the ability. They get a little bit caught up in that turn, not able to make it as tight as Khalid might on some of his other horses, like he was riding in the World Cup a couple of weeks ago at Al Shara in the Emirates. But 26.23, he didn't look that fast, but Khalid Al-Mobti and Diana de Plevaux easily go into the lead. I say easily, I mean, we were talking about 2-second advances earlier on. Now it's 0.2 of a second advance, but it's enough. Khalid Al-Mobti, Diana de Plevaux are out in front now for Saudi Arabia. Jordan's Ibrahim Hani Bisharat drops to second. Jennifer Hochstadter for Liechtenstein into third.
Saudi Arabia first, Jordan second, Liechtenstein third as it stands. Next to go, and already on the podium here, World Championship rider for Japan. It's Mike White, he goes with the Sanctioned Mare Promisey, number 21 under start.
Another rider who has been on the podium in 5-star Grand Prix action here. Actually the first Asian Equestrian Federation rider to be on the podium of the CHI Grand Prix here at Al Shakab. Mike Kawai. Mike, who has represented Japan at last year's Asian Games. He rode at the World Championships the year before and was the travelling reserve for Japan to their home Olympic Games in Tokyo in the autumn of 2021. Promise has actually been Mike's best placed horse of the tour so far, with a podium finish in metre 50 action last week. But Mike here in Doha this spring getting his whole string going for the year. Really smooth around that corner, but you can see the time-wise, you know, the 26-27 podium-worthy times have already slipped through his fingers. 33.47 for Mike Kawai and Promise with the double clear, and that is going to put the pair into 10th position. We are in fact up to more than 10 double clears as things currently stand, and Mike Kawai actually is going to send us back into the 5 riders who bring forward 2 horses each. So twice a winner over the course of the tour so far with this one. Crack Baloo, this is Emanuele Gaudiano. It's a back-to-back winner of the Friday metre 45 class. In the first 2 weeks of the tour, what can he do here in the Thursday metre 45 with Crack Baloo? Of course, Contago Blue has also been a double winner for him, including actually winning this class last week. Didn't just quite turn in the performance he wanted, so Gaudiano is trying to use that experience. Look at him here, just wind this horse back into himself to be sure of that double of verticals, and lands moving smooth around this turn, but he's drifting left all the time, so even if that fence hadn't gone down, he would have had to really ride and straighten up. He couldn't have taken an extreme angle at the Royal Palace clock, so in any event it would have been very, very difficult to hunt down 26-23, all from the way he made that very, very first turn and the horse's tendency to just drift through the left shoulder a tiny bit. 28.94 with 4 faults for Crack Baloo and Emanuele Gaudiano here in our first world ranking class of the week in the 5-star Doha Tour. Well, actually a rider we are going to see just for the first time because he didn't ride his earlier horse. It is Abdulrahman Al-Raji, who comes forward now. Abdulrahman with Iniesta. Al-Raji, who's also well placed in those rankings of the World Cup League here in the region. And Iniesta and Abdulrahman Al-Raji were actually winners with us last week, winning the metre 50 class on Saturday, which was the prelude to the Grand Prix. The metre 50 class on Saturday is actually the culmination of this metre 45 tour. But what's interesting as you watch the weeks progress, and a week progress across Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is horses moving up and down through those tours. I mean, we saw some very, very talented horses jumping the meter 40 tour. We've seen, you know, some world-class championship horses, and their riders have decided that this week they will actually just run the 2-star. Cayman Jolly Jumper, for instance, for Simon Deleste is here and is jumping 2-star this week at Doha Tour. But the important thing here is Abdulrahman Al Raji is moving. His teammate Khalid Al Mobti is the leader, 26-23. Al Raji just has to sit up and balance there. Is it going to cost him the class? No. 25-94. He is out in front. Quarter of a second really is all there is in it for Abdulrahman Al Raji. So from a Jordanian 1-2 a while back, now it is a Saudi 1-2 here in our Longines World Ranking 2 phases. The 5-star gets underway. The regional riders are making it very much their own. Austria, Italy, Australia still to come. But can anyone go faster than those pair from Saudi Arabia? Abdulrahman Al Raji and Khalid Al Mobti holding the top 2 spots, with Jordan's Ibrahim Hani Bishra in 3rd. Well, it's very possible, because here is our first Grand Prix winner of the Tour. First combination, of course, as well. Equestrian Naxel and Gerfried Puk. Naxel, Nations Cup horse at so many big shows last year for Gerfried, and then part of the Austrian team that won bronze at the European Championships in Milan over courses there, also designed by Italian level 4 designer Uliano Vezzani. Gerfried Puk is going to go through. Now, he did go through with his earlier horse as well. And is he being a little bit more ginger about that turn, because he tried to make a tight turn exactly as we'd expect from him back to that Al Shakab fence, and he ended up having it down. Start of quite a few having it down in a row. Naxel, I don't think really needs his pipes opened at this meter 45 level to try and win it, and Gerfried just keeps him, I think, jumping nice, enjoying his time in the ring, ready to really put the screws in on the Saturday night Grand Prix. So Gerfried Puk and Naxel go into 9th position there, double clear in 31.54.
Two left to go. Longines ranking of 5-star class, the Longines outdoor winner here at Al Shakab. Rider who's already a winner here today, representing Italy, is Roberto Bertali. He goes with Chico.
Roberto Prevetali and Hashiko into the second phase. Roberto already clear, double clear with Esteban de Hoos in 28.16. Can he find a little bit more this time around with Hashiko? Coming on towards home, 25.94 to beat. He is not there as he has to balance to the last. How close can he get though? 28.13. Prevetali is so consistent. 28.13 with Hashiko, 28.16 with Esteban de Hoos. Only 300ths between his two times, and he goes 7th and 8th. 7th on Hashiko.
national champion Jamie Vermont joins us now with ISIS.
Well, with the mare that has jumped to a top 5 at the metre 50 level with us over the course of the tour so far, Jamie Vermont's Isis. Isis has been this sort of the trailblazer horse in Friday night's jump-off class, setting up for Jamie then to ride his championship horse, Yandu Oaks Constellation, in the Grand Prix. And of course that worked out very well as a strategy in week 1 when they were on the podium. But Isis is an incredibly consistent horse, just comes in and delivers round after round in this ring across the Doha Tour so far. Going to be a touch slower than some, 46 against the 48 seconds time allowed. He's tight, but is he super fast, making that turn back to the Al Shakab? And Isis almost turns herself inside out to make sure she doesn't touch a rail of that first fence in the second phase, and that's what you need on your side when you're making those blind turns. You need a horse that's absolutely with you and trying for you. 25.94 doesn't look possible for this pair, but again, they should be sub 30 seconds, and it should be a valuable day at the office for Jamie Vermont and Isis. They go top 10. They take over 9th position between the 2 ranked horses for Roberto Prevetali.
We have our top 3 that we bring back into the arena for the last year rankings, 5-star, 145.
So a great first world ranking class of 5-star week at the Doha Tour, and more action to come here this evening as we're going to set our first metre 50 class of the week. And that is due underway at 8:30 this evening, so at 45 minutes time, and that is 3 hours ahead of the UK and Ireland, so 2 hours ahead of Central Europe, and 8 hours ahead of the east coast of the United States of America. We've got 15 on the start list for that, but it is going to be the Saudi anthem of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that plays out here shortly for Abdul Rahman Al Raji's victory, with Khalid Al Mobti in second, Ibrahim Hani Bisharat in third, Jennifer Hochstadter was fourth, Abdullah Shabatli fifth, Hani Kamal Raji Bisharat in sixth. Those 2 for Roberto Prevetali, Jamie Vermont, Janica Born Kuranayadash taking 10th, and then it's Gerfried Puck, Daniel Meach, Santiago Lambre, all these double clears right the way down to Nadja Peter Steiner. 16 of our competitors out of 24 jumping double clear here on day 1 of the show, but don't expect Uliano Vetsani and his team of designers here to give away too many clears as the 5-star week continues here at Doha Tour. Awards, of course, for this competition coming up. Do stay with us for that, but otherwise I hope you'll join us for tonight's feature, Longines World Ranking metre 50 Table A speed.
Good evening and welcome to the second of the five-star prize-giving ceremonies for the launching ranking 1.45 two-phase class. Total prize fund of €28,200 on offer on day one of week 3 of the Doha Tour 2024.
حضورنا الكريم نرحب بكم في مراسم تتويج أصحاب المراكز الثلاثة في شوط تصنيف الخمس نجوم ارتفاع متر و45 سنتيمتر 5 أشواط جولة الدوحة 2024 برعاية بنك الدوحة وعبد الغني موتورز.
We welcome in Jordan's Ibrahim Handi Bishrat in third place, Khaled Al Mabdi for Saudi Arabia in second, but it's a 1-2 for the Saudi Arabians. Abdul Rahman Al Raji is your winner with an SUV.
نستقبل الفرسان الثلاثة في المركز الثالث إبراهيم هاني بشارة المملكة الأردنية الهاشمية، المملكة العربية السعودية في المركز الثاني مع خالد المبطي، والصدارة والامتياز للمملكة العربية السعودية مرة أخرى وفارسها عبد الرحمن الرجحي.
We are honored to welcome Nasser Al Hajri, the FEI International Judge of Qatar, to make the presentation.
سيقوم بتتويج أصحاب المراكز الثلاثة السيد ناصر الهاجري الحكم الدولي القطري. في المركز الثالث المملكة الأردنية الهاشمية عبر فارسها إبراهيم هاني بشارة والجواد هارفارد.
And yet again for Jordan, the Olympian Ibrahim Hani Bisharat onto the podium, third place this time with Harvard.
المركز الثاني للمملكة العربية السعودية والفارس خالد المبطي والجواد ديانا دوبليفوزيد.
A man on the gold medal winning team in Indonesia in 2018 for Saudi Arabia, Khaled Al Mobti, takes second place with Diana Duplivozi.
الصدارة والامتياز للمملكة العربية السعودية وفارسها عبد الرحمن الراجحي والجواد إنيستافي.
Gold medal winner, silver medal winner at team level in the Asian Games, Abdul Rahman Al Raji for Saudi Arabia, and SCFE topped the leaderboard in a brilliant clear round at 25.94.
صورة جماعية تذكارية على ميدان الشغب، على ميدان لونجين بالشغب.
As always, great images, super photographs, great memories here in the Longines Outdoor Arena at Al Shakab. So we now ask our three prize winners to turn and face the large screen. And once again, I would ask you, if you're able, to please stand for the national anthem of our winning nation, Saudi Arabia.
ألف مبروك للفرسان الثلاثة، وشكرا للسيد ناصر الهاجري الحكم الدولي القطري. حضورنا الكريم، فلنقف من فضلكم تحية للسلام الوطني للدولة صاحبة الصدارة والامتياز، المملكة العربية السعودية.
Our three prize winners, Ibrahim Hani Bishrit, Khaled Al Mobti and Abdul Rahman Al Raji, now leave the podium to remount their horses. The Doha Tour, organised by the Qatar Equestrian Federation, our strategic partners, the Qatar Olympic Committee and Al Shakab, part of the Qatar Foundation. This very generously supported by our generous sponsors Doha Bank and Al Dugani Motors.
يعودون الآن الفرسان الثلاثة إلى جيادهم، عبد الرحمن الراجحي وإنيستافي، خالد المبطي وديانا دوبليفوزيد وإبراهيم هاني بالشرط وهارفارد، لجولة النصر بقيادة صاحب الامتياز عبد الرحمن الراجحي.
So it's lap of honour time in the Longines Outdoor Arena on day one of week 3 of the Doha Tour. Our winner today, Abdul Rahman Al Raji for Saudi Arabia, and SCFE leads the way. Congratulations to Khaled Al Mobti for Saudi Arabia, Diana Duplivozi in second, and Jordan's Ibrahim Hani Bishret and Harvard in third.
إذن المركز الأول والصدارة للمملكة العربية السعودية عبد الرحمن الراجحي وإنيستافي. المركز الثاني للمملكة العربية السعودية خالد المبطي وديانا دوبليفوزيد. والمركز الثالث للمملكة الأردنية الهاشمية إبراهيم هاني بالشرط وهارفارد.
Only the best at the Doha Tour. Team gold medalist, team silver medalist at the Asian Games, Abdul Rahman Al Raji leading the way in SDLV. Team gold medalist at the Asian Games, Khaled Al Mobti in second, and Olympian and multiple winner here at the Doha Tour, Ibrahim Hani Bishrat for Jordan in third. Give it up for them there, ladies and gentlemen. Delighted to be joined here by the man who won Team Silver, Team Gold at the Asian Games, Abdul Rahman Al Raji. A brilliant clear round at 25.94 to win the second of our 5-star junior ranking classes here with an SD of V, this wonderful KWPN gelding. Good for you this evening and an excellent horse to produce the top class result.
Thank you very much. Honestly, I'm very proud and happy from the performance that my horse delivered. I must say that he's always, as I said last week after he won the 150, he always gives 700%, and I just have to be doing my best and try to do everything in the right moment and the right place. I must say that he's a very fast horse, and he's very careful as well, and I think he's unbeatable. I'm very happy and proud to be here in Qatar, and especially I consider Qatar is my second home, so I'm very happy to win in front of my crowd here, and hopefully this is a good start and a good push for us for the rest of the week.
You're one of the more experienced riders in this region. You've gone to the Asian Games, you've won silver medals, you've won gold medals, you've done it consistently. This Doha Tour gives an opportunity not only to riders like yourself, but you look at the number of junior riders, young riders, there's so many opportunities at the 2-star, the 4-star, the 5-star level. This is an important innovation for riders in this region.
Yeah, honestly, I was very surprised when I came because it's been a while since I was here in Qatar. Maybe we were last year here for the Olympics qualification, but I haven't really focused on the upcoming riders. And when I came here and I saw the quantity and the quality of the riders that they're coming, I do believe that Qatar, they're building a very strong team for the future, and I think they have a very promising riders, and I think they're giving all the opportunities for them to build them up and steps them up. It's advice from me that you guys are very lucky. I wish to have such an opportunity back then. But yeah, also for us, honestly, we have the Olympics this year, and I think this is one of the best places building up to the Olympics. The facilities, the grounds, the course designers. We have Oliano, one of the best course designers in the world, and I must say he's really doing a very great job here, using the whole arena, especially it's a very big arena, and every class we have a different idea, different fences, different courses. So I think it's a very good opportunity even for us building up to the Olympics.
Abdul Rahman Al Raji, a pleasure and congratulations and best of luck for the rest of the tour.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Qatar is the home sport, having hosted the FIFA World Cup Formula One motor racing and is currently hosting the AFC Asian Cup soccer and will host the forthcoming World Aquatics Championships. The Doha Tour is organised by the Qatar Equestrian Federation in association with our strategic partners, the Qatar Olympic Committee and Al-Shaqqa, part of the Qatar Foundation. The Doha Tour, which is very generously supported by Doha Bank and Al Abdul Motors, transcends the boundaries of a typical equestrian event. It is the convergence of riders and enthusiasts uniting under the banner of appreciation for Qatar's vibrant environment. This Doha Tour is designed to facilitate an equestrian season in January and February. The Doha Tour will give Qatari and other riders from the region an opportunity to compete and watch and learn from the champions who visit. Doha Tour 2024 includes 4 activated tours. The first 2 weeks feature CSI5 4-star and 2-star competitions at Al-Shaqqa. The staggering prize pool has been allocated to the skilled riders competing in this world-class equestrian arena. As the excitement continues this week, Tour 3, spanning from January 24th to 27th, includes CSI5 5-star alongside 2-star, promising a unique display of equestrian excellence. Friday, the Emirates Tour, which constitutes the 4th week of the Doha Tour, takes center stage from February 15th to 17th, showcasing the skills of the best riders and horses in the CSI 5-star and 2-star classes. The Doha Tour is more than just a sporting event. On the sidelines, the VIP tent is offering an exclusive experience to discerning guests. Additionally, various activities cater to fans, riders, and enthusiasts, providing insight into Qatar's rich heritage and its literature. To all fans and riders, we extend a warm welcome to the Doha Tour. This is an opportunity to witness the harmony of tradition and modernity as riders from across the globe compete for glory in the heart of Qatar. Doha Tour 2024, where nobility meets history.
أولا كريما نحييكم لنا في أول والثالث وآخر جولة الوطنية بالفوز من الخميس وإلى غاية يوم السبت مع شوط التنافس والمرحلة العالية بين الفرسان المتميزين من قطر وخارجها وصولا للجولة الخامسة الذي سينطلق بعد قليل وهو أكثر الأشواط وخيمة كثيرة رفيعة تربط الإدارة الواجهة لتشكيل فكرة تروى وقصة تقدر تجسيد الرؤية الذاتية الأمس اليوم والأخطر. إذن بفضل الله وبفضل جهود أعضاء الاتحاد القطري للفروسية بدعم لجنة الأولمبية القطرية على ميدان نعشي بشكل نحن نستمتع نشجع نحتفي بنصر التراب والأبطال توجه على قاهرة قطر وعاصمتها الدوحة. الدوحة عندما نتحدث عن إبداعها وتألقها في استضافة تقديم كل الأحداث الإقليمية الدولية العالمية وإخراجها لأنحاء كلها. دائما تسعى لتحقيق تطلعات كل الأطراف سواء رياضيين أو مشاركين، جماهير حاضرين وحتى المتابعين خلف الشاشات. الدوحة شاملة على الأزمنة تعقدت وأخذت من الأفضلية التميز والرياضة الوارد. القدرة المحركة في قطر تنتهي غزوة اسم العالم 2022 الذي بدأ فعلا لأول مرة على أرض عربية شرق أوسطية. بطولة آسيا المتقدمة على أرض دوحة، بطولة عالم الفروسية من جمال قفز وسباقات عالم والصفراء لسواء شرق الروان، بطولة الدوري المسيحي العربي الكبرى بالإضافة إلى بطولات عديدة والقائمة طويلة في انتظار تنطلق إن شاء الله بطولة العالم في العام المالي عربي الدولة في الثاني من شهر فبراير القادم، وتأتي ذلك لأول مرة
يستكشف آفاقا جديدة وفرصا واعدة تزيد من رغبة الحياة، ولأننا ندرك أهمية التنقل في جعل حياة الناس أكثر يسرا وأمانا. نحن في شركة آل عبد الله موتورز نتجهز من اليوم للغد ونواظب على تطوير أنفسنا ليكون التنقل الآمن في متناول الجميع. في دروب جديدة نحو مستقبل مشرق. آل عبد الله موتورز شريكك في التنقل. At a very early stage, humanity discovered the importance of mobility. To connect, to explore, and to provide for others. Discovering new opportunities, exploring new paths, and improving life. We recognize the value of mobility in making people's lives easier, safer, and more connected. This is why we strive to be better each day, preparing ourselves today for tomorrow. Together we keep moving forward, unlocking greater safety, accessibility, and happiness for all, while embracing the pathways ahead. Pathways that lead to a brighter future. Al Abdul Motors, your mobility partner.
Good evening and welcome to the Doha Tour 2024, launching outdoor arena at Al Shakab on day 1 of week 3, featuring the third of the 5-star classes, the launching rankings class, with a prize fund of €30,000 on offer this table day 1 round against the clock. That's coming up in just over 5 minutes' time, the launching outdoor arena.
35 دقائق ثانية تفصلنا عن آخر أشواط أول أيام ثالث جولة دوحة الدولية الإندونيسية في 24 كانت سوف يكون لدينا 14 فائز وفائزة يتنافسون على امتداد 470 متر 12 خارطة أرضية الميدان بارتفاع 1.50 سنتيمتر جهة البديهة 30,000 يورو المسموح بها الشوط و76 ثانية. نتمنى لكل المشاركين السلامة التامة للجميع إن شاء الله وكل التوفيق، كما نتمنى لكم فرجة ممتعة.
Good evening and welcome back to the launching arena at Al Shakab for the final competition here today of Doha Tour Week 3. Doha Tour presented by Qatar Equestrian Federation with the significant support of the Qatar Olympic Committee, and bringing these incredible 3 weeks of sport here to this wonderful arena at Al Shakab. And Doha Tour 1 to 3 in January is just the beginning, with the Emir's Sword coming up at the 5-star level, presented by the Qatar Equestrian Federation once again in early February. Then Shakab will play host to its own CHI competition, bringing together 5-star jumping, world-class dressage and para-dressage here, bringing the indoor arena into the swing of the action as well. And then the Longines Global Champions Tour Global Champions League Series for 2024 kicks off here in Doha as well. Our final competition of the day is a one-round table A speed with a metre 50 height of fences, and we're going to be starting with last week's World Grand Prix winners here, Henrik von Eckermann and Glamour Girl. Ines Joly, who's been having a very good show, including being on the podium earlier on at 5-star level, comes next. Simon Delestre, Janneke Born-Kuranayadaj, and her Asian Games horse Santiago Lambre, who we saw go well in the last class. Antoine Herman with another horse that he stepped up from the 2-star in previous weeks. Edwina Tops-Alexander and her Madrid Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix winner fellow Castlefield. Abdulrahman Al-Raji and Ventago. So of course Al-Raji just our winner a few moments ago. We've got Amelia Douglas, the World Cup qualifier winner from in Australia. Naja Peter Steiner, a winner across the series. We've got Amber Fuller, Rika Barker, Abdullah Shabatli, Gerfried Puck and Emanuela Gaudiano. Just one horse per rider here in our competition this evening. So what has Uliano Vetsani got in store? Well, he's got the fence that was quite influential in the 2 phase earlier on over there in front of the VIP, and he has them hopefully, if they came in for a right-hand approach, sort of continuing their right-hand bend to the Doha Tour fence. Now, it has that really bright filler that has really caught the horse's eyes early on. So, it looks like quite a snug distance down to a big boxy oxer at number 3, and then a tight rollback, full 180 degrees to number 4. At triple bar, and then actually it's really quite snug then. If they do jump big in over the triple bar, they'll have to really haul to get back to this line. And going up to the double, which is plain white fence, a sort of marbled pattern, you've got the very skinny black rails over the bridge fence too. So that's a really tough early part of the course. Rolling around then, pushing away from the VIP, they'll jump that big metre 50 vertical, slight right-hand bending line to this double. 8A, 8B, a double of oxers. Then they'll pick up the left rein. So this is the Dow fence once again. Right in front of the in-gate before turning back to number 10, a metre 50 vertical going up towards the bright lights over at the warm-up side. And then this final line. So he's got the oxer at number 11, and then it looks like quite a short distance once again to the Corniche Torches at 12, all to be completed within 76 seconds, but actually the riders will be looking to try and set as fast a time as possible, and importantly too, leaving everything standing to try and take victory in this first top tier class of 5-star week on the Doha Tour. So everything's set fair. It has been interesting just coming here a month earlier than we normally do, seeing that the schedule tweaks. We have that metre 40 tour, 2 weeks of jumping for horses at metre 40 level, 4-star, now it's 5-star. And the reason the star is important is that still relates to the difficulty of the relationship between the jumps. So you can have metre 40 easily much more difficult than the metre 45 2-star Grand Prix, because it is 4-star, it is 5-star, and it must be up to that sort of standard. And that's been really good. You've been interesting to see the horses that have been using that, either quite young horses or horses that maybe have a little bit of time off, or horses that just don't need that much jumping. We've seen really top name horses jumping a couple of days in metre 40, or maybe 1 week in the metre 40, and then blitzing through into the top tier then of the weeks that have followed. Also the progression, we started with Peter Schumacher of Germany as our designer for week 1. Uliano Vetsani joined us last week and stays with us now as the Tour's top tier moves up to 5-star for the first time. So the first time competing in this ring since they were Grand Prix winners here last weekend. Henrik von Eckermann and Glamour Girl. Henrik just rode Glamour Girl in the top tier last week. He moves one or two of his other horses up into the 5-star this week. On paper, this is actually the first time we see Henrik today. Glamour Girl not only won that Grand Prix, but won the big class on Friday as well. Henrik having missed out on week 1 here in order to jump on the Longines FEI World Cup Series in Basel in Switzerland. The great King Edward there finished 10th this year, having been the winners there 12 months previously. And Henrik became the first ever rider on his way to his World Cup title to win more than 100 points in a season on the Western European League. So Henrik and Glamour Girl, none better really to show us the way around this track. But, you know, again, naturally fast. I think it's difficult for Henrik to maybe sit back and not try and win almost, but going first in, not having a lot to prove, having won the Grand Prix last week, you wouldn't expect this pair to necessarily be coming in here trying to take away the victory. And indeed, last weekend it was Henrik's student Evelina Tovek who won the meter 50 class on day 1 of the show. But Henrik also, I think, would make some very, very good calculations here, because he'll know that if he can be positive and forward and clear, and all of those things are possible for this pair. He gets a very, very nice sneak in there around back to the Qatar Equestrian Federation. He could just put enough pressure on a lot of the riders following to try and be faster than is comfortable for them and end up taking a rail. So 67.01 for Henrik von Eckermann and Glamour Girl to set the scene for the meter 50 class to come.
Great start to Longines, the ranked 1 meter 50 class world champion Henrik von Eckermann and Glamour Girl here 67.01.
So initially with Calliope de l'Abbé now. Innis with results across 3 horses, including a win at the 4-star weeks. Was the 2-star Grand Prix winner as well with us week 1. Just being quite careful there about the triple bar again, not only just bottling the horse up a little bit, but almost seeming to jump landing right of center, so that if the horse did jump big into the distance, they had just created a little bit of time and space for themselves to get the turn up to the line 5 to 6 AB. Doha Bank meter 50 over there in that busy little sector of the ring between the big screen, the in-gate, and actually the Dow fence behind it is going to be interesting enough for the horses to look at as well. So a lot for the riders to do to keep the focus on that meter 50 Doha Bank. The last goes, unfortunately, for Innis in a time of 67.01, the exact same time as Henrik von Eckermann and Glamour Girl, but it is 4 faults, so second place for Innis.
French Olympian Simon Delestre joins us now. Time senior 4:51, the winner of the World Cup Grand Prix in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia last month.
Simon Delestre is our next to go. Simon, the world number 7. Jumped this horse meter 45 classes early in the week, the last 2 weeks, for a runner-up spot each week so far. Could tonight be the night he goes one better. Won the Thursday meter 50 with us in week 1 with his other horse Olga van der Kruishoven. and Dexter Fontenay second in last week's Grand Prix. Just lets I Am Alessina R drift a little bit right through that white double at 6A, 6B, and comes tight then to the Al Abdul Ghani motors as well. Stays the right-hand side of the line all the way down here. He'll just smooth out that bit of line then coming to the Doha. This is all about the increments that could make the difference over that 67.01 leading time. This pair won a very good renewal of the King's Cup in Madrid last spring, and they are well out in the lead here. Simon de Lestre and I Am Alessina R blitz the time of Henrik von Eckermann by very nearly 7 full seconds, and Simon now will hope that that is enough, that anyone trying to follow him has a real challenge on their hands. Clear for Olympian Simon de Lestre and I Am Alessina R in the new time to beat of 60.28 seconds. Jannica Bourne Current Iadage with Maxwin Kinmar Agalux. Top 5 with us in the Grand Prix last week here. I saw Jannica Bourne in our earlier class today as well. Just with that other horse, which seemed to be stepping up to the top tier for the first time with us this week on Doha Tour, being quite ginger, being quite careful. Here with Maxwin Kinmar Agalux, she is being daring. This pair were just off the podium, individually 4th at the Asian Games last summer, as well as Hangzhou in China. And astoundingly, she is up on Simon de Lestre's time. But he was just riding an incredibly accurate plan everywhere. This is a great shot here at the Doha Bank because it's all of meter 15. You see as well that the rails have those horizontal white stripes on them, particularly under the lights. Very difficult for the horses to read. 60.28 seconds. Is Jannica Bourne go into the lead for Thailand? Yes, she is. 0.14 of a second up at the check. 3/4 of a second up when she comes home. Jannica Bourne Kuranayadaj is clear and in the lead for Thailand here with her Grand Prix top 5 finisher Maxwin Kinmar Agalux.
Joining us now as representatives of the country and the World Championships for the Pan-American Games and the Olympic Games, Santiago Lambre goes for Brazil with Zeus. Between around 39 seconds at 8B, the second part of the second level, right in the middle arena to be touched at that time set by Jannica Bourne Kuranayadaj for Thailand, here 59.5.
So Santiago Lambre, Brazilian Olympian, winner with us over the course of the Doha Tour so far. With the German-bred stallion Zeus. And he is rattling along. So could we see the lead change again? Santiago would certainly like to think so. He's just coming up that distance, rolling there with Zeus, but ends up just being a little bit flat going up there. And again, that's something you could trace back to the way the horse jumped the triple bar, having to ride a little bit of recovery over to the stile with the white bridge arch underneath it at 5, and then it finally comes home to rest. Flat, diving a little bit at the top rail at the first part of the double at 6.
First double down, 4:67.96 at the time, Santiago Lambre, Zeus, Brazil.
إيرمان والجوال كوميك ستار يعتبر منصة التتويج.
Early rail, unfortunately, here for Antoine Herman and Comic Star, so the young Frenchman won't be able to feature too highly in this meter 50 world ranking class. Say, Antoine also a winner with us over the course of the Doha Tour with Extraterrestre Jacques.
Eight volts times 65.06 for Antoine Herman, Comic Star, front.
كمان يواجه المهندس 65 ثانية 6 أجزاء من هذا أنطوان إيرمان وكوميك ستار لدورة فرنسا.
Janet Gordon, Caroline Nash, Maximum, King Mark, F34 was clear, 59.53.
So 8 faults on the board there for Antoine Herman, with Janik Kurnaadaj still the one to beat here in our first meter 50 class of the weekend. 3 clear rounds over the Suliana Vetsani track. Janik in the leader, Simon Deleste for France, Henrik von Eckermann for Sweden in third. So in the same weekend that I Am Alessina R and Simon Deleste won the King's Cup at Madrid, this pair won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix at that historic show, the Club de Campo Villa de Madrid, and that was won without a jump off. They were the only clear in the first round in Madrid this year to give Edwina her 8th career Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix victory. And just that same rail there coming up that distance, we said when we looked at the 3D animation that it felt like that area of the course, that whole sort of hockey stick line up from the triple bar to the white double, had the potential to be amongst the most influential, the most intense part of this course on day one. So, the rider who, with her other horse, Corelli de Mise, was on the podium in week 1 of the Grand Prix, Edwina Thops-Alexander and fellow Castlefield, will go into 6th place at the moment with a 4-fault round in our meter 50 world ranking class on day 1 of 5-star Doha Tour week 3. Winner of our previous class then, Abdulrahman Al-Raji. This time he rides Ventago. If he makes it to Riyadh for the World Cup finals this year on home soil, it will be his 3rd appearance at the World Cup finals level in the sport. Does Al-Raji have the relationship with this horse to go the sort of pace that he showed us earlier on? Not, it looks like, in the same sort of league as Janakiborn Kuranayadaj. Really dives at the second last, and he steps in. He's so quick thinking. Having felt he maybe made slightly the wrong decision to the second last, he really sat up and rode the last properly. He didn't want to have that unlucky four, having pushed his luck over the second last. So that probably cost them fractions of a second. Would it have ever been enough, the pace Al-Raji was going? 61.75 with that wobble on the final line for Ventago, and Al-Raji is worth third place so far. Amelia Douglas, Kelfilu. It's on the 0 score at the moment. Just time check will tell you, just feels a little bit down on the pace of our absolute leaders. So Amelia gives us our latest clear round as we go on to Nadja Peter Steiner and Espoir Blanc Cristal. Nadja and Espoir Blanc Cristal had a very good run through week one of the show, particularly at the meter 50 level. And just, it does happen quite a bit as riders try to hold their horses off from jumping big into a triple bar. They can end up having the triple bar, which normally would be a very forgiving fence and helps create a nice jump profile. So Nadja Peter Steiner there with an unlucky 4 faults before the time check, and you see then a long way down by the time she gets to the time check. So coming home with just the single rail down, the triple bar rail, so 66.63 on the clock as well there for Nadja Peter Steiner and Espoir Blanc Cristal. Another Australian rider here, Amber Fuller with Nopal Van Talot, Diamantesemi, horse just 9 years old, and remember, as we've been saying for the last couple of weeks as well, with the horses, Northern Hemisphere horses, being adjudged to be a year older on the 1st of January. In reality, you know, this horse is really still rising 9 in terms of its experience. So nicely judged clear round there, just over 66 on the clock for Amber Fuller and Nopal Van Talad. It brings our rack of clear rounds up to a grand total of 6, and Amber goes into 4th place.
Joining us now representing Denmark, Linda Barber. She goes with Holsteiner Highcloud. Linda Barber already on podium here at the Doha Tour.
On course now for Denmark, Rikke Barker Eiklaudt. Actually top 5 in a metre 50 class here with us during week 1 over the courses set by Peter Schumacher of Germany. Rikke also a top 5 finisher in that week 1 Grand Prix with her other top horse Tabalu. And looks like she's just going to call it a day on course there as well. So Rikke Belinda Barker and Eiklaudt won't complete tonight's metre 50 class. Hopefully it'll come together for them in the days to come here. 2 more great days coming up from Doha Tour.
Joining us now representing Saudi Arabia, team and individual gold medalists at the Asian Games in 2023.
Well, very, very close in the earlier class. What happens this time around for Abdullah Al-Shabatli? Atome des Etis is his ride here in our metre 50 world ranking class. And one of his close competitors from the Asian Games is the leader. Janica Born-Kuranayadaj leads with her Asian Games horse at 59.53. Abdullah, of course, picking up the individual gold alongside the Saudis' team gold at those Asian Games last summer. So still pushing all the way, as you'd expect. Abdullah Al-Shabatli, really nice at that far end of the ring. Just lovely sweep down from the meter 50 Doha bank back to that Qatar Equestrian Federation fence. 59.53 is not going to be quite there for him, but he should be pleased with that round of jumping here from Aton de Zetis. Competitive in 61.93, he goes into 4th place.
Here round for Saudi Arabia's Abdullah Al-Shabatli, 61.93, with a total of 50 into 4th place in this 5-star launching ranking style. Thailand leading France second, Saudi Arabia third. 2 left to go now in the launching rankings, 150, 30,000 euros, CSI 5-star class, as we welcome in European team bronze medalist Gertrude Cook. He goes to Austria with Equestrian for athlete.
So Gertrude Cook had that incredible first week with us here. And he's been racking up the results ever since, maybe not quite so eye-catching. But Equestrian or Nat, his ride here for today's meter 50. Had 2 top 5s in a podium in his 3 classes in week 1. In week 2 was top 5 on day 1 of the show as well. And Gertrude Cook showed, you know, that he is one of those talented riders against the clock earlier on with both of his horses really in the 2-phase competition. 1.17 down though. It really is incredible what Janica Kuranayadaj did with her Asian Games horse Maxwin Kinma Agalux. So Pook goes clear, Pook goes on the podium. Is he going to stay there? There's one more horse and rider pair. It's a threatening one because it's Gaudiano, but Janica Kuranayadaj is still in the lead. Simon de Lest sits second. Gertrude Pook is in third at the moment. Will he stay on the podium, or will it be Gaudiano who upsets matters? And just look at that. There's a fantastic replay of that pole really rattling going through the white double.
1 left to go. This is Italian Olympian Emmanuel Guardiano. He goes with Nicola to the music.
So Emanuele Gaudiano, Nicolas de Musique. In over that style, balancing up to the white double. This horse top 5 in a meter 50 last week. Gaudiano 4 times a winner at the 4-star level alone, plus all the 2-star results he's had with those horses over the first 2 weeks of the tour. .59.53 to beat. He does it hands down. 2.99 seconds in front. Gaudiano takes another victory at the top level on the Doha Tour. It's the first top level victory for Nicolas de Musique across these 3 weeks of jumping. May not be the last. Janica Kuranayadaj for Thailand and Maxwin Kinma Agalux have done so well, but unfortunately they're going to have to settle for second place. Simon de Lest and I Amalacina will be third, with Gertrude Pook pushed off the podium in fourth. We'll have a look at the full results here in just a few moments after these replays of eventual winner Emanuele Gaudiano and Nicolas de Musique.
In third place, Simon de Lest,
So awards coming up to bring day one of week 3 of the Doha Tour to its conclusion, and it is going to be the Italian national anthem that we hear once again for Emanuela Gaudiano. Janneke Born Kuranayadaj in second for Thailand, Simon Deleste, French Olympian, third, Gerfried Puk, the European Championships bronze medalist, in fourth, Abdul Rahman Al Raji, Asian Games team gold medalist, in fifth, and winner earlier on today, Abdullah Shabatli, the Asian Games champion, sixth, Amber Fuller clear for seventh, Henrik von Eckermann was our first in the ring, clear for eighth with last week's Grand Prix winner Glamour Girl. Amelia Douglas was clear for ninth, Nadja Peter Steiner with the fastest 4-fall to 10th, and then we have Ines Jolie, Santiago Labre, Edwina Antoine Herman and Rika Belinda Barker, who ended up retiring on course in the feature class of day one. Well, a full competition schedule coming up from Doha Tour week 3, day 2 tomorrow. We hope you'll come and join us for that. On the agenda for us in terms of the 5-star, we've got the meter 40 competitors are going to jump their table A speed. World ranking meter 45 tour, they will have a table A speed, and the meter 50 top tour will have their jump off class, as I say, that prelude, that appetizer for the Grand Prix to come on Saturday night. That is at 25 minutes to 9 for the biggest class tomorrow. As I say, 2 hours ahead of Central Europe here in Doha, 3 hours in front of the UK and Ireland, and 8 hours in front of the east coast of the United States of America. So 8:35 local for the big class here tomorrow from Doha Tour week 3.
want to do both. I don't mind, but then I know you're going to calculate, this is too much work, you don't do much every month.
You know that it's like it's so much to you that what I do.
No, but you will say it's too much, why I have to do this? I know you will. You are the one who will say.
Just to avoid complaints later on.
Good evening and welcome to the CSI 5-star 1m50 launching rankings prize-giving ceremony on day one of week 3 of the Doha Tour 2024 in the launching outdoor arena at Al Shakam.
حضورنا الكريم نرحب بكم في مراسم تتويج أصحاب المراكز الثلاثة في آخر أشواط اليوم الأول من ثالث جولات الدوحة الدولية للفروسية 2024.
We welcome our top 3 into the arena. French Olympian Simon Deleste in third. In second place, the lady fourth individually at the Asian Games, Jananaka born Karanaya Dash for Thailand. But it's a winner for the 7th time. Italian Olympian Emanuele Gaudiano, Nicola de Music taking the win here in Doha.
نستقبل هنا على أرضية الميدان أصحاب المراكز الثلاثة الأولى سيمون دوليست من فرنسا، جاناكا بورن كاروياهاج من تايلاند، وإيمانويل غواديانو من إيطاليا. يقوم بتتويج أصحاب المراكز الثلاثة الأولى السيد أحمد الشباني مدير إدارة الدعم بنادي قطر للسباق والفروسية، والسيد سالم خجيم المري مدير العلاقات العامة والتسويق بنادي قطر للسباق والفروسية.
We are honoured to welcome Ahmed Al-Shibani, Director of Support Department of Qatar Equestrian Club, and Salam Kajam Al-Mari, Director of Public Relations and Marketing at the Qatar Racing and Equestrian Club, to make the presentation in the launching outdoor arena on day one of week 3 of the Doha Tour 2024.
في المركز الثالث فرنسا وسيمون دوليست خوال جواد أملوسينا إغ 51.
World number 7, Francis Simon Deleste, Alcina 41, taking third place in this 5-star launching rankings class.
في المركز الثاني تايلاند وجاناكا بورن كارونايا هاج والجواد ماكسوين كينمر أجالوكس.
Thailand's Jananakaborn Karanayadash and the Irish sport horse Maxwin Kinmar Agalux taking second place.
في المركز الأول الإيطالي إيمانويل غواديانو ونيكولاج دو ميوزيك يعتلي هنا منصة التتويج للمرة السابعة.
And for the 7th time at the Doha Tour 2024, onto the top flight of the podium for Italian Olympian Emanuele Gaudiano, this time with Nicola de Music. He was clear 56.54 for a great win.
صورة تذكارية جماعية الآن على ميدان لونجين بالشقب مع أصحاب المراكز الثلاثة الأولى والسيد أحمد الشباني والسيد سالم خجيم المري.
Wonderful memories, great photographs being taken here in the launching outdoor arena as our 3 riders turn to face the large screen. And again, I would ask you, if you are able, to please stand for the national anthem of our winning nation, Italy.
حضورنا الكريم فلنقف من فضلكم تحية للسلام الوطني للدولة الحائزة على الصدارة والامتياز إيطاليا.
Congratulations to our three prize winners, Simone Deleste, Yana Akbar and Karen Idash, and our winner, Emmanuel Gaudiano, as they remount the horses. This Doha Tour 2024, organised by the Qatar Equestrian Federation, our strategic partners, the Qatar Olympic Committee and Al Shakab, part of the Qatar Foundation, and very generously supported by Doha Bank and Al Abdul Ghani Motors.
ألف مبروك لأصحاب المراكز الثلاثة الأولى، وشكرا للسيد أحمد الشيباني مدير إدارة الدعم بنادي قطر للسباق والفروسية، والسيد سالم خجم المري مدير العلاقات العامة والتسويق بنادي قطر للسباق والفروسية. يعودون الآن أصحاب المراكز الثلاثة الأولى إلى جيادهم: إيمانويل غوديانو ونيكولاش دي ميوزيك، جانا كابورن، كارونايا هاج وماكسوين كينمر أغالوكس وسيمون دوليست وأميلوسينا إر 51 لجولة النصر هنا على أرضية لونجين بالشقب.
It's lap of honour time. Leading us off, Emmanuel Gaudiano and Nicola de Music. A great achievement, 7 wins here at the Doha Tour. Yananaka born Karanaya Dash, 4th individually at the Asian Games, with the Irish sport horse Maxwin Kinner Agalox taking 2nd place. French Olympian Simone Deleste, world number 7, I Amelsino or 51 in 3rd. A fantastic lineup in our prestige 1 metre 50 5-star class on day 1 of week 3 of the Doha Tour 2024.
إذن حضورنا الكريم يسدل الستار في هذه الأثناء عن أول أيام ثالث جولة الدوحة الدولية للفروسية 2024، على أن نلقاكم غدا إن شاء الله مع أشواط من فئات مختلفة. شكرا دائما على حضوركم ودمتم في خير.
Well, I'm delighted to be joined by Italian Olympian Emmanuel Gaudiano, a clear-cut winner of the class tonight, shaved 3 seconds off the lead time with Nicola de Music. This Canon offspring really performed for you tonight, just brilliant all the way, never let up.
Yes, thank you. Nicola is actually a very quick horse. I had a good round for him today. I could catch two vertical, really diagonal. He can do that very good, and yeah, I was able to win with 3 seconds, I think, and yeah, this is fast enough. Yeah.
So you've been here for the 3 weeks of the tour. The first 2 weeks we had CSI 4-star classes. We're now up to CSI 5-star classes in terms of launching rankings. So there's a lot of prize money, a lot of ranking points. It's going to get very competitive now over Friday and Saturday. A lot of riders looking to win those classes. It's going to get tough.
Now we start with the 5-star. We will have these 2 5-star the third and the fourth week. And then we will have two important 5-star, the last two. I think I will take my best horse for the last 2 weeks, Chalou. And because we will have more rider and it will be more difficult, yes.
Well, 7 wins for Italy, your junior country proud. Really good here at the Doha Tour. We wish you the very best of luck for the rest of the tour.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.